Before we start the discussion on memory, let's see how we are gonna go through the discussion itself. So we will only rely on the facts. So what are the facts? We will rely on the facts which are exclusively perceived by our sense organs, the organ of senses that we have, right? And based on that, we will take, so first we will observe those facts, and then based on those observations, we will take inferences. So inference is like, let's say I can see. So this is an observation, and inference means that the very act of seeing is possible because I have something that can see, that can help me in seeing, right? So that's the inference. So observation and inference are like that, but assumption is different. So for example, assumption is like that. Let's say I have this pen and this mobile phone. So these two seems like they are different, right? Because of the sense perceptions, we can feel that, or we can have this error in perceiving that these two are different because we don't know about what continuity is, what discontinuity is. That's okay, but we are feeling that these are different, and to explain their origin of difference, we introduce a concept called three dimension. Three dimension is the length, height, and width, XYZ. Now that's an assumption because that's completely non-existent. That's our imagination, right? So any assumption is imaginary. So imaginary and assumption, they are just synonyms. Then there comes another term, that is belief. So belief is any explanation without observing how the process of explanation itself is working. So let's say this is called pen, this is called my face. So these we took from our parents or from the book in schools or from our teachers, from society. We took all second-hand explanations. That's okay. But belief is to rely on them, to keep them as second-hand explanations, and never go through the process of how they explained those actions as a pen, as a face. You see what I mean? So if you don't go through the process of observation or the process of inquiry, how an explanation is projected, because anything that we see is different than our explanation that we project on it. This pen has nothing to do with the explanation that we are giving. Like, it has a black color, this is called pen. These are, we are projecting on it. So this is how the explanation or any assumption is projected, and that's the main basis of the process of superimposition that we will discuss. So in that sense, belief, assumption, imagination, they are all representing the same concept, that introducing something in order to explain or in order to project an explanation to the action that we see surrounding us. Now, if someone knows what continuity is, then there is only action, not actions, because everything is continuous. Another interesting thing is the speech, the language, the concepts, like this is called a cup, this is called a human being. Those things we have to rely on in order to interact with other human beings or other animals, right? But the interaction is an action, but the explanation we have to develop so that we can interact with other people or other animals. So this is the process of developing the sound, the language, the alphabets to denote those language in writing system, the script that we are going to follow, whether it is the Roman script or Devanagari, etc., etc. You see, the whole process of interaction has to be there, otherwise there will be no communication. But don't take it as a belief, observe it, how we developed everything. These were not in the existence, we developed it, right? So we are trying to look at how we can develop or how we can create in absolute sense, because those are all our creations, our imaginations, assumptions, those are our creations, right? So superimposition is a fundamental act of creation. Without knowing how superimposition works, we won't be able to know literally anything. So we will go through each aspects of superimposition, for all the actions that we superimposed as different actions, but they are not different. So this is the most joyful and most exciting journey to go through, to know what's happening on the outside, and then immediately you will realize there is no difference between you and the universe. And it's not like it's gonna end somewhere. This is infinite journey, so the joy, the excitement will increase and increase and increase. So just enjoy this self exploration or self knowledge, whatever you say it. Just know yourself, who you are. Okay, so what we are going through is we are going through the observation, the act of projecting explanations, right? Okay. And the most important thing is we are not gonna ask why this is happening, why that is happening, because that will create another assumption, another explanation. So we will be trapped in infinite loop of why an explanation, why an explanation. You see? So what we are gonna do is we are gonna go through the observation, and we will, if there is any question at all, that can be how it is, how an act is happening, how, and how is very closely related to the act of observation. So when you observe, then you can know that how the process of explanation is happening, how we are projecting the explanation to an object called pen, or to an object called the body. You see? So how is always a better questioning term than why, because why will be very dangerous. I mean, the whole humanity is trapped in why. They are not looking at how everything is happening. And see how is happening. If you go to the root of how, then you will know the very act of explanation, how the projection of the explanation is introduced by us. But we are not going to the very root of how. We are stuck on the surface. That is the science. We try to know how the star is capable of emitting light, how a human being is getting birth, then growing, then dying, in terms of biology, chemistry, physics. We are trying to know how. But if you go deep and deep and deep at the very root, where how the explanation is projected by us, the the then the purpose of the word how will be fulfilled. And for that, we need to observe, paying at most attention as possible to any single object. Take any single object and look at it, how we are looking at it, what are the explanation people gave that object, how they gave that object, how they were able to project those explanations. And this process of how we objectify everything is the main discussion that we will have in all, mostly all the videos in these discussions. And never believe others explanations. So if someone is saying that this is how it is, never believe that, or never take that. I mean, you don't you don't go with any arguing, you just realize that this is the dead end. If someone is saying that this is how it is, that's the dead end. You cannot, you just go away from that place. So always try to explore the explanations that we are projecting, how we are projecting explanations to an object, how the objectification is done by us, right? So that's gonna be the most important aspect of these discussions.